Welcome to Interactive Talk Radio for the Soul, the Psychic Partner Show, a transformative radio program created to awaken, enlighten, inspire, and empower you. You are invited to call in with questions and comments for our guest. Call 646-478-0501. That's 646-478-0501. For information about all of our services and personal appearances, please visit thepsychicpartners.com. And now, here is your host, intuitive counselor, life coach, and professional psychic, Loretta Vasso. The Psychic Partners Show is on the air.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our audience from around the world. My guest this evening, joining us from Winnipeg, Canada, is Chris Kehler. Chris is a holistic practitioner and energy healer who specializes in finding the trouble areas and stressors within the body by using a pendulum and chart method of dowsing. After retiring from a 30-year career in the print industry in 2007, a door opened for Chris, which led him to the world of energy work. Realizing that his intuitive nature was more than just coincidence, Chris began taking courses in many different modalities. To his credit, Chris has found great success and certification in dowsing using a pendulum, radionics, healing with metaphysical tools, quantum touch, muscle testing, which is applied kinesiology, foot bath detox, and live blood analysis. Chris holds 2 certifications in dowsing and quantum touch. Chris learned very quickly that when working with universal energies, one must not only think outside the box, but way outside the box. By this he means that all possibilities need to be considered when working with a person's ill health. Not only are things like viruses and infections tested for, but also off-the-wall possibilities like entities, karmic debt, and how well your body is grounded to the earth. After the problem area and stressors have been located using the pendulum chart method of dowsing to find the root cause of any and all health problems, the frequencies of the stressors can be neutralized with the use of crystalline metaphysical tools and radionics. With this protocol, it is possible for pains and ailments to be alleviated within a short period of time. Chris is the owner of Chris Kehler Holistic and Quantum Point Technologies in Winnipeg, Canada, and I am thrilled to have you on the show, Chris. Welcome.
Hi, Loretta. Great to be on. Thank you for having me.
Well, there's so much rich information just in that introduction that I want to talk to you about. But why don't we start by addressing the fact that you call yourself a quantum energy healer. Can you explain to us what that is?
The work that I do is something I developed myself, so I came up with a name that was most suitable, and that was quantum energy healer because I'm working with quantum energy. I'm doing healing work, so it all fits nice and tidy together.
That's nice. That's great. It sounds wonderful, and I've been thinking about a lot of this even in my practice lately, and it's really kind of fascinating. So you also have in here about that there can be entities or karmic debt or how well one's body is grounded to the earth. Why is that important, that your body be grounded to the earth?
Well, basically, if you think about it, we're all electrical beings. We have electricity that runs our brains, our nervous system, our heart. All the functions of our body are basically done with a form of electricity. So if you're not, let's take your microwave or your television. If it's not grounded properly, it's not going to work properly. Same with your body. Your body needs to have a constant inflow and outflow of electrical energy, and that is energy we get on a daily basis from touching the earth. The energy is called ions, negative ions. So if your body is an open circuit, which means you're connected to the earth, you're grounded, ions are going to flow in and out of your body on a regular basis, and there's going to be no bottlenecking of negative energies building up, which is positive ions. Basically, if you're wearing rubber-soled shoes all the time, you're not grounded to the earth. If you're wearing leather or you're walking barefoot a lot, then you're going to be more grounded to the earth. There's different societies in the world who still sleep on the ground and are still walking in moccasins and that type of thing. They are grounded to the earth. So that's very, very important, number one. Number two, with entities, it's unbelievable.
Wait a second, Chris, let me just ask you a question about that first.
Sure.
What about people who don't go outside much? Are they affected that way?
Well, yeah, they're not going to be very grounded at all. Now, people who don't go outside, there's still a way to ground. There are different types of bed sheets you can buy that will ground you to the earth. And there's ways energetically you can ground yourself to the earth by working with your zero chakra, which is located 1 foot below your feet. So that those things can be done to help ground you if you're not out touching the ground and walking barefoot and that type of thing.
Okay. Very interesting. And then you were going to talk about entities?
Yeah, entities. Oh, unbelievable amount of repercussions when you have an entity in your body, and generally everybody does have some type of spiritual attachment, some type of entity within our bodies in the form of a poltergeist. There can also be alien entities that are attached. It sounds kind of far-fetched, but like I said in the bio, you have to think of every single possibility that could be and might be causing a health problem. So if your body does have a spiritual attachment, an entity, whatever you want to call it, it can cause a health issue or be a very big contributor to a health issue. When I look at a health issue, I work on removing the spiritual component, which is an entity or some type of voodoo curse or something like that. And I also look at the physical, whether it be a virus, bacterial infection, parasite, and that type of thing. So when you're working with energy, you really got to go deep and find all of these different things that could be within your body causing a problem. Now, entities, especially poltergeists, are very, very big when voodoo and black magic is being used on somebody. And more people have voodoo and black magic going on within their body than they know. So that's a very, very big component.
And one would not necessarily know that without being tested, correct?
Pretty much. If you live in a society where black magic is used on a daily basis, if you're in Haiti or Louisiana or in South Africa or something like that, especially Middle East, there's lots of it being done, and you know about it, it's talked about, and it's a part of life. Then you know when you might have one. But ultimately, yes, you have to work psychically to know, is there an attachment, where is it, what's it doing to you, what's it contributing to, and that type of thing. So working with a pendulum or whatever modality will find the entity is the right way to do it.
Okay, and I want to remind our audience that they can call in with questions and comments at 646-478-0501, although we will not be doing readings tonight. At some point in the future, we will be doing readings with Chris. But can you tell us about the chart that you use, that you douse, and how your process works?
Okay, the charts are pretty simple. It's just a semicircle with 25 different segments to it, and there's just a word in each segment. And when I use my pendulum, a pendulum will just point to one of the segments, which will give me the answer. So it has to be very, very precise. If you miss it off by one segment, then the answer is going to be completely wrong, and it's not going to work. So the charts are something I developed myself over the past 5 years, starting with a simple set that I got in a mail order course. And I worked off of those, and I developed my own set of charts that contain absolutely anything and everything. And if it's not in the charts, I have a letter chart, which is much like a Ouija board, and my guides will actually spell out the problem and guide me to what I need to do to help a person.
Wow, that's pretty good. And so what kinds of things are you generally finding? Is there a specific thing that people come to you for?
Lots of aches and pains, of course. I do lots of work on Lyme disease. It's a very misunderstood form of illness in its own right. Lyme disease can mimic 250 different diseases and illnesses.
Oh, my goodness.
If you have lots of pain in your body, it can mimic schizophrenia, MS, all different types of things. I work a lot on Lyme disease. I see a lot of that. I work in the past life karmic debt. philosophy of things. And I do understand it quite well, exactly how it works. It's not really all that much to it. If you've done something bad to somebody in a past life, their spirit's going to hunt you down in this life and make life rough for you. They're going to incorporate or initiate the same type of issue that you gave them onto you. So it's basically like, found you, now I'm going to kick you in the butt. So karmic debt is just something where it's a bit of a revenge.
Right. Wow. We do have a caller waiting on the line. Let's see what question or comment that person has. You're on the line from the 229 area code. Can you tell us your first name and where you're calling from?
Hi, yes, ma'am. My name is Melvin, and I'm calling from Georgia.
Hi, Melvin.
Hi. I am so interested in what you and Mr. Chris is talking about, because there are some questions I want to ask him about me, but about with my health and situations that I'm going through in life. Because I feel that, I know you're not taking questions, but I just wanted any contact information that I can get from him.
Yeah, we'll be giving out my website. The website is chriskehler.net. All my contact information is on there, and I'm very easy to get a hold of. You can get a hold of me 5 days a week, 10 hours a day, no problem. So all you got to do is call me, leave a message, and I will get back to you.
Okay, and that's Chris Kehler?
Kehler, Kehler.
Okay.
And the information is available on the People You'll Like page at thepsychicpartners.com.
Okay. Thank you all so much.
Thanks, Melvin. Keep listening.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Okay, Chris, so a lot of this sounds like shamanic work.
You know, there's so many different terms that people use for people who do this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I'm very, very new to the whole world of energy and psychic phenomena. So what I've done is I've kind of started from that point where I started, and I've kind of taken it to a different level, which is I found that a lot of people who do things that were taught hundreds of years ago, a lot of it has changed. So by developing my own way of doing things, I'm kind of breaking away from the traditional and calling it something of my own and just doing things a little differently, breaking the mold, if you will, as far as energy work goes. So shamanic, you could call it shamanic. You could call it light work. You could call it healing. You can call it many different things. Ultimately, it's just getting rid of somebody's health problem.
Right. Well, the reason that I say that is because it sounds like you're using spirit guides and you're asking them for assistance in identifying things and
correct.
And I guess in removing whatever the dis-ease is.
Mm-hmm.
And
if that's
very
what shamanic is, then it certainly is shamanic. Then yeah.
What's radionics?
Radionics is working with frequency of everything within your body. Everything in life, everything around us vibrates at a certain frequency. So the coffee table I'm sitting in front of right now, it's vibrating at its own frequency. So in your body, the liver has its own vibrational rate, and an illness, let's say a bacterial infection, will have its own vibrational rate. So if you have a machine which is called radionics, by taking the vibrational rate of something and applying it to the liver and vibrate it out, then it no longer exists. So it's much the same way as an opera singer singing at a frequency and shattering a wine glass. You're just knocking out the frequency of it. Now, the radionics I use mostly now for charging wristbands with energies to do certain things, like wristbands for sleep, for balancing female hormones, for migraines, you name it. I can make a wristband to do anything that a person needs, and by wearing a wristband, it helps to facilitate the healing.
Well, I want to understand this. So are you measuring the frequency of, say, someone's liver, or are you changing the frequency of that, or both?
Yeah, what you're doing is you're measuring the amount of frequency of a stressor, which is whatever it might be, virus, infection, whatever. You're measuring how much of a certain frequency is within the frequency of the liver. So if the liver is 100% and there's 100% frequency within the liver, you know that liver has got some kind of stress within it. So then you take the frequency of whatever is in the liver and you just shake it out. You vibrate it out of the liver.
How do you know what the frequency should be?
There is a book, okay, that comes with the radionic device I have, and it's got the frequency of everything and anything within inside the body. So it tells you what the frequency is, whether it's 29.6 by 19.2, that's the frequency of liver. So you make a vial on the computer of the machine, and then you take start measuring with a pendulum what virus or whatever is in the liver. You find it with a pendulum. You find the frequency of that virus, make a vial, and you put it in with the liver, and you press a button, and it just vibrates it out.
Wow.
So that's the first way I got started in healing is by using that device. What I use now, which is a lot more efficient, is a series of pyramids that I've developed. The pyramid I use, there's a picture of it on my website. It's called the Silver Light Pyramid. There's 5 pyramids stacked on top of each other, and they're loaded up with different crystals, different quartz crystals with shungite, magnets, different sacred geometry. And what I do with that pyramid is I hold it over somebody's head, or if you're in another city or country, I hold it on up to the computer, and through the speed of energy, the energy works on you wherever you are as if you're sitting right next to me in my office. I've got clients all over the world. I've got clients in Kuwait, Russia, Germany, all through the States, a lot of different cities and countries. So by using that pyramid, by giving it intent, so let's say I find salmonella poisoning in your liver. I take the pyramid, I hold it over your head or up to the computer or up to the phone, and I say neutralize, eliminate the salmonella within the liver. At the speed of energy, it happens that fast, and it's gone almost immediately.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
And I'll tell you, it works. I'm busy 5 days a week, 10 hours a day, working on people all over the world, and people are calling back because it's working. That's not to say this is a complete, total miracle. Of course, sometimes for certain issues it takes 2 or 3, 4, 5 appointments to get rid of a problem, but it eventually does go away.
Mm-hmm. You said something about being able to do group healing or something on the air right now during the show?
Yeah. What we can do, what I've done in other programs is I take my pyramid, I hold it up to the computer, and I give it some intent. Now, anybody who's listening, if you've got a pain somewhere or some little health problem, something going on, if you can at least touch your computer or be very close to it, I'm going to run some energy. I'm going to give it some intent to do a mass healing. And what I want somebody to do, if somebody's listening and all of a sudden you feel a tingle or a warmth go through your body, I want you to call in and tell me. So let's do that right now. So I'm going to take my pyramid. I'm holding it up to the computer, and I'm going to give it some instructions. Let's use the flame of the sweat to do a mass healing on any and all people who need it. So right now I'm running this energy. Let's run the flame of the sweat to any and all people who need it. And almost as soon as I say that, you should feel a tingle. Okay, it's almost done. Okay, there it goes. So if anybody did feel something, not everybody is going to, call in and let us know what you felt.
Well, I kind of felt something.
Yeah, it's kind of like a tingle. It's not really not going to knock you off your chair, but it's just enough to know, hey, something's there, something's different.
And what is the flame of the sweat?
Well, the flame of the sweat is of course, this is all fed to me by my guides. You're not going to find this anywhere on any courses or anything. This is all stuff that I've been privileged to receive. The flame of the sweat is a healing energy. It's a combination of the diamond flame and violet flame. When you put those two together, you get what's called the flame of the sweat. And when you intend that energy, that healing energy goes through and starts to do its work. Now, when you incorporate it with and when I say the words, it's all about intent. This is all about intent. When I say the words, use the flame of the sweat to remove the salmonella from the liver, then it gets much stronger, and it does a much more deeper clearing.
When it's specific.
Yes. The more specific you get when you're doing a healing like this, especially, the more accurate it is, and the deeper it gets, and the more it works.
Mm-hmm. Fascinating. I'm a little taken back by all this. As you can say, I'm almost speechless here, which isn't good on a radio show. It says live blood analysis. What is that? How do you do that?
Well, yeah, live blood analysis, it's something I do within my clinic for people who aren't so much into the energy work. I also use it in accompaniment with it just to do verifications. So to do this, you pretty much have to be in my clinic. Now, there is a way to do it. If you take a sample of your blood, put it on a slide, and send it to me, it can be done also, but that's kind of difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But when you take a poke of blood out of somebody's finger, put it in a microscope I have, and you can see the blood live on a computer screen, and you can identify different stressors within the blood, such as parasites, bacteria, kidney problems, crystals, and that kind of thing. So when you use it along with the energy healing, let's say the pendulum says that you have a parasite. Well, we can verify that. Let's look in your blood and see if we see a parasite. If we see parasites, well, then we have a very good confirmation that we need to work on parasites. So I'll use energy to remove the parasites. I'll also use a parasite cleanse like diatomaceous earth or something like that to help along with the issue.
Mm-hmm. So are you working with herbs and things like that to have people ingest, actually?
I don't work so much with herbs. What I found when I got started in this whole industry is that there's so many people buying hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of herbs every time they go for a session to see somebody, and they end up not taking them because you get confused, you forget to take them, and they just don't work for that one reason. Lots of people do take them, of course. Sometimes they don't get the right thing because the person giving them to you doesn't know what they're doing. All they want you to do is sign up under a multi-level marketing contract and to get your money that way too. I use minerals. I like to use liquid minerals because quite often a health problem is a mineral deficiency or excess in the body. If you're low on iron, you're low in copper. So I give you copper so that copper helps your iron absorb into your red blood cells. Mm-hmm. You know, I also look at the sodium and potassium balance in your body and measure all that. So with my pendulum, I can measure the amount of iron, copper, magnesium, whatever it is that is in your body, and use that specific mineral to either top up the levels or balance the levels.
Mm-hmm. Started in all of this, Chris?
It was about 7 years ago. My first wife passed away. She had a rare disease called scleroderma, and she battled through it for about 6 years, yeah. And before I was doing this, I was in the printing industry. I spent 30 years printing, which I loved doing. It was a great job, and I was good at it. I really enjoyed it. When she passed away when I was 45, my financial planner looked at me and says, "Chris, time to stop work and look at your portfolio." So I took his advice. I had no problem doing that. I spent 2 months in my backyard drinking beer. Okay. Then I thought to myself, I better get my life going. And long story short, I just walked in a door. The old saying goes, one door closes, another door opens. And I literally walked into a door where somebody was doing this type of thing, and I took an interest in it. And I knew in the back of my mind, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is what the universe had set up for me since I was born, what I'm supposed to be doing. And I just followed it, never gave up, never looked back, just kept on going straight forward. And here I am today with a full clinic. Things are working. Things are going really well.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it amazing when you find your true work, how wonderful that is and how great it is to be able to know?
Yeah, it's such an epiphanic moment. It's like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
Okay, now let's go.
Right, and you know it from every point in your being. And I guess, when you do that and when you are doing your right work, that really promotes good health as well.
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay, well, what else would you like our audience to know about your work?
Well, as I said, it can be done over Skype. It can be done over the phone. Mm-hmm. I like to set up time so that it's good for everybody. So if you work until a certain time, I'm not going to make you miss work to call me. I'm going to try and make some time for you after your work or whatever. I want everybody to know that I'm not here to take your money. This is what I do for a living. My sessions are only $55 per session. I take credit card, I take PayPal, people send me a money order in the mail, whatever it takes to help you. I'm going to do whatever I can. I don't give up. Never say I can't do this. I know I can do anything. It's just a matter of what procedure to do, what type of energy to use, and things get done. So any health problem is not a problem. If you've got an inoperable brain tumor, bring it to me, okay? I can work with that. I have worked with that. I'm working on a lady right now in Florida. She has a tumor on her chest the size of a softball. And we spent a good year on it, but it's now the size of a golf ball. So it is working. It's just a matter of cancer is a tough one. So it can be done. It's just a matter, are you willing to do what you need to do for me to help you? That's what it comes down to. If you're open-minded, if you want something gone, you've gone the whole route with pharmaceuticals and doctors. Now, I got nothing bad to say about doctors. It's all the system that's terrible, and the pharmaceutical industry is just taking us for a ride. If you want to be away from pharmaceuticals, you've tried it all, it doesn't work, I am going to help you.
And how often do you interact with a particular person? Are you like your woman in Florida? Is that once a week, once a day, once a month?
Once a week. Once a week, I'll work with somebody. Generally, when I do energy work, it takes about 2 days for all the energy to process. Sometimes it takes a month. I might work on some and they don't feel anything for a couple of days, and they'll call and say, "What's going on? Nothing's happening." I says, "Wait." And then 2 days later, sure enough, they get the energy shift, and we all had an energy shift. We know how that feels. And they're like, "Okay, you got my attention." So once a week is really good, depending on the problem, but once a week is generally good.
Okay. Well, we're just about out of time, Chris, and I want to remind people that your website is Chris Kehler, ChrisKehler.net, and all the information that they need to get a hold of you is there. That's really wonderful, and I do want to invite you to come back on the show and to do some healings for our callers anytime beginning in February on. Just let me know when you're available, and thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Loretta.
You're very welcome. Thank you. I hope everybody has enjoyed this episode as much as I have. It's been fascinating. Please join me next week when my guest will be Karen Shackler. We're going to be talking about palm reading. She's a palmist. And we're here almost every Monday from 6:30 to 7 Eastern Time. Until next week, please keep in mind that the answers you seek are all inside of you. Having a guide to help you discover your own inner wisdom is what a psychic reading is all about. Check us out at thepsychicpartners.com. I'm Loretta Vasso, wishing you joy and light on your journey to inner peace, and Happy New Year. 2014 promises to be a wonderful, wonderful year. Good night.